Hi, my name's Brandon Dixon from Risk IQ, co-founder of PassiveTotal. And today I just wanted to do a quick video identifying how I go about grooming a project or investigation based off of known open source intelligence. So I have this project here. It's based on Iran. And as you can see, it's already got a number of indicators already processed inside of it. And essentially, what I do when I start out a project like this, especially one where I'm dealing with potentially hundreds of indicators that I have to go through, is I'll actually go through and tag a lot of them. So I'm going to filter down here based on domain. And then, well, we could just look at these from here. So I can see the domain itself listed, and you'll notice that there's malicious ones and then these suspicious ones. So often what I'll do is I'll take the starting points that I know are bad, and I'll use those as my way to kick the project off. So I'll look at the domains, and I'll actually kind of categorize them by theme. So I'll go through and tag some of these, like in this particular case, this 443.tcp.codeconfirm-recovery.bid. It looks to be like a typo squatting based on account and identity. So that's how I'll tag it. Just kind of keeps me organized as I'm going through. And essentially what I'll do is I will go through and start pivoting on each one of these domains and getting the results on each one of them. So we already know that this is bad, but instantly right away, I can tell that this IP address is not part of my project because it's not colored in a suspicious way. It's not tagged in any way. So what I'll do immediately is I'll open up a tab here behind the scenes for the IP address. I'm going to take a look at the whois information. I can see here that I got some unique information on the email address, the name, the phone number. Name servers look pretty interesting, but they're not liable to be as interesting. So I've loaded those, all those in the background tab. I have subdomains here. So we have one that's been indicated as malicious, but then I have a number of other subdomains that are completely just unmarked here. In other words, they don't appear to be part of my project or my investigation. So typically what I'll do is right away, without even having to make any pivots, I know that that's something that's been registered, like code confirm-recovery.bid is going to be a malicious, like I know that it's a malicious domain. All these subdomains are going to be related as well. So what I'll do is I'll generally select these and I'm going to modify them, mark them as suspicious. And I like to use a tag like unmentioned or new or related as a means to essentially mark that this infrastructure is new. And so then what I'm going to do is add these to my project. And I'm going to wait for this little indicator to pop up, letting me know that was successful. So at this point, I now have basically worked through the top level items off of this domain. And what I could do is close this out and swap over to the IP address. So we could see here was our original pivot. And then we have a number of other items here that appear to be related as well. Just things that look like account-based services, screen name, super user, etc. So on the first pass, I probably wouldn't spend too much time looking at the domains related to the IP address, simply because as I go through and add other subdomains, I'm going to mark those up. So if I refresh this IP address after marking some of those subdomains as suspicious and unmentioned, it might actually tell me a different story here on the IP address. So yeah, if I scroll down, I can see that some of the other domains that I just added in as suspicious and unmentioned are now showing up inside of this passive DNS as well. So if I really wanted to, I'd actually start going through and adding some of these strictly based on the patterns alone and the fact that they're reusing a lot of the same themes, the same subdomains. But for at least the first pass, I would probably leave this alone. But it does give me a good indicator that this IP address is suspicious. And so I would actually add this to the project immediately. I would then categorize it as suspicious, again, placing an unmentioned tag on top of it, just so I can keep organized. So I pivoted here on the Gmail address that was associated with the domain. Again, this is something where these to me look related immediately. And so I would just add these to the project as well. Same thing with the name. You actually see here that we actually have a different email address based on the name that appears to be supporting the same pattern. So definitely want to be adding that in just to make sure that we can keep that accounted for. Then finally, a phone number here. Looks like it's got just the same ones as the initial Gmail address that we started with. It's already part of our project. And so at this point, what I do is I'm going to refresh the project here just so you can see all of the indicators. But effectively, I continue to work my way down for each one of these domains that are marked as malicious, doing that same methodology that you just saw. After I've gone through and done that, what I will do then is typically filter out by IP addresses. I'll pivot on all of these, and I'll add in any sort of domains that appear to be fitting a pattern of interest. I will also go through the whois email addresses and phone numbers. And again, a lot of these right here, we've already added just as going through our first pass inside of the system. But it's a pretty intense process, especially when you're working through hundreds of indicators. And it's our way of being organized, and I figured it was worth sharing with everyone else. So this is how we build out our investigations and how we make sure that we do things thoroughly. And then once we go through and have added in all of our suspicious infrastructure, we'll go and repeat the process on top of that. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of duplication in what it is that we're doing, but it's a very effective and thorough technique for finding everything that's related to a particular set of actors.